Okay, week 6 power rankings.
Yes.
Get into it. Peter, who is your number 10?
Number 10. After kind of a disappointing loss, they didn't need to lose this game. I have the Philadelphia Eagles, who lost to the Lions. They dropped a long way in my power rankings. I did power rankings last week, although we weren't here. So from last week, I had them at 3, dropped all the way down to 10, but kept them inside the top 10 because Carson Wentz was still pretty good. It was a bad fumble by Matthews at the end of the game. Unexcusable. Unexcusable. Eagles at 10.
David.
So, for the first time this year for me, the Raiders have made the top 10.
Yes!
Wow.
Finally!
Number 10.
It's about time.
The Oakland Raiders.
That's all I can say.
They would have been in the top 10 last week for you, too. They should have been.
They should have.
Yeah.
I had them at 10 last week, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Slowly climbing on up.
They were probably at 13 last week.
Do you have anything else to say?
No.
Nice about
Say something.
it?
No,
Yeah, okay.
say something
Say
nice
something
about
nice.
the Raiders.
We deserve it.
No.
You know, my favorite story.
You guys could be higher if your defense was a little bit better.
My favorite story is have you seen the memes of Phillip Rivers?
I've seen it.
Okay, there's a lot of them, but he's got one where he's just like or whatever, he got sad. But right after that bad snap that would have tied the game, I was watching, and you could see his lips perfectly clear say, "We're the bad news Bears." That's what he said. He said, "We are the bad news Bears." It's awesome.
I went
It was
back and
so
looked
good.
at that.
No. I was watching it on
even
Red
hear
Zone. He's like, "We are the bad news Bears," and he turns his head and walks away.
I loved him yelling at Tyrell Williams. He was like,
Moving up in the field.
And he was like stomping his feet.
Oh, it's great. I love it. Like, I would so much rather my quarterback have that passion than be Jacob.
I think he goes a long way.
Should we do
would
a shout
rather-
out for Bryce real quick?
Yeah.
Do you-
Cry Baby Rivers. That's a Bryce song.
Oh.
He wants to do it.
A
Does he
remake.
does he hate Phillip Rivers?
Yes, he does. He hates. He's
Bronco fans
He's
hate-
almost like
Bronco
David.
fans hate Phillip Rivers.
I have a
They're not
game with Bryce that I play with all our friends. Who said it? Bryce White or David Roberts?
Oh, that's
it's
good.
impossible.
No, that's gotta be a segment.
Do you want to play it real quick? Because
Okay.
One of David or Bryce, who said it? We should make a mock video of Cry Me a River with Crybaby Rivers. Who said that?
That's Bryce.
That is Bryce. So you're the only one. I've asked 9 people.
Well, we were kind of
we
talking
kinda told
about
stuff,
it.
Yeah,
but it's a fun game.
I think that's really funny. Okay,
What's your 10?
number 10, Philadelphia.
We're the same. Nice.
Yep.
I like that.
They looked all right.
Mistakes.
Yeah, it was down the stretch. They really.
Carson Wentz
missed it.
still impressive.
Yeah, he always looks good.
All right, number 9.
Number 9. My number 9 is your guys' number 10. It's Philadelphia Eagles.
Nice.
It's pretty much the same reasons.
reason.
I had them, I think, at 4 or 5 last week. Or 2 weeks ago. So,
Sure.
Cool.
yeah.
I think we've discussed
They fell
that.
off.
Sweet. Dallas for me at number 9. Their offensive line is only starting to get rolling. Zeke looks awesome. Dak's not turning the ball over, and their defense is playing well. Their defensive line terrorized Cincinnati.
I'm surprised.
Which is really weird
Philadelphia.
because it doesn't seem like they have any huge names on the defensive line. Big win for Dallas over Cincy.
Well, I don't disagree with all those points. However, I think they're better. I have the Packers, and this isn't because I am a Vikings fan. Maybe it is a little bit, but they have been so unimpressive
It was a shaky
against
win.
teams that are not very good.
And Rodgers
Aaron
didn't look
Rodgers
good.
should have way more interceptions, but for some reason they can't. The defensive people who ever play against him can't catch balls. So the Packers for me at 9.
Okay.
All right, so what's your 8?
My number 8 is Oakland. The Raiders moving up into the top 8.
Wow.
It was kind of a tight win against San Diego, but division rivals are hard. Especially San Diego. They're always scrappy. They always play you guys pretty up and up. But no, we played well, and I think the hugest thing is winning those games that we typically lose. I think playoff teams win those close games. Take, for instance, the Broncos of last year. So Oakland at 8, finally.
Oakland at 8. All right, actually,
I thought you were out higher.
No, this is gonna be I have the Broncos at 8.
Are the Raiders higher?
Yes, they are. I have the Broncos at 8.
Wow.
Okay, listen. You
Wow.
don't
I've
lose
never
at
liked you
home
more in my life.
to the maybe a historic it could be historically be one of the worst defenses I've ever seen.
It was
I
Paxton's
watched-
first start.
Whatever, Paxton's first start, then run the football. It's just it's
yeah.
you got to scheme for that offense.
I was
Totally.
yelling
that
at Paxton Lynch
Saints,
the entire game.
the Saints made them look awful. The Saints made them look like a Big 12 defense, and that's what they are. If you guys know college football, the Big 12 doesn't play defense, and that's what the Falcons'
score
secondary
points, though.
defense. They're awful, and you should. There's no excuse for a home loss. And the Broncos drop a long way
Wow,
until
that's quite a
until
slide.
they get their quarterback situation figured out, or until Paxton figures out what to do.
And until they
They
learn how to
can't
game
run the
plan.
ball. They can't game plan.
Yeah,
And,
but
and
here's
on
the
a short
defense
week,
thing, though.
Kubiak's
We were
gone.
missing,
I don't know why.
we
I
were
don't
missing
remember what
our
happened.
top 2 tight ends.
Don't talk about missing.
We're missing
don't
2
talk
top tight
Yeah,
ends.
No.
you're talking to a
Why?
Vikings fan.
Don't
right
talk
now.
about missing. Don't talk about.
You
We
guys-
have a
you guys
brand
got a
new
quarterback.
offensive line. We have a brand new quarterback. We lost
Running
a
back.
Hall of Fame running back,
It's
and
all
we're
right.
5-0.
No, I agree with you.
Excuses
We
are like
lost last
buttholes.
year.
Everybody has them, and they all stink.
That was good.
Thank you.
That was.
We lost last year. I agree with you because we lost last year, or we won last year with a worse situation at offense. So I think it probably
All
I
right.
would agree with you.
Who's your 8 team?
My 8 is Seattle Seahawks.
Boom.
That's awful.
At number
Boom.
8.
The worst.
Number 8.
Absolutely
Way too
the
low.
worst.
No, it's not.
Absolutely the
That's way
worst.
too low
Yeah,
for you, right?
way
Okay,
too
yeah.
low.
Totally
Number
agree.
8 is the Seattle Seahawks.
That's
What do you call him?
insulting.
They're rubbish. They
Yeah,
are
you should get
rubbish.
They are. And
Somewhere.
they're lucky to me that they're in the top 10.
Oh, you're silly.
Are you? They're finally
No,
getting
I
rolling. They're Jimmy
They're
Graham's
rolling
playing well.
up on
Well, they were on
my
a
list.
bye, so I mean,
Yeah.
what can you say?
Seattle
about that?
Seahawks, number 8.
Oh my goodness. All right, I think that goes to me, right?
Mhm.
All right, at 7 I have the Raiders. The Raiders.
As long as we're
Okay, so they're leading the division. They have 3 road wins. Their only loss comes to Atlanta Falcons team, who I mentioned before is awful. You shouldn't lose to them at home, which they did.
is Atlanta in your top 10?
Huh?
Is Atlanta?
Atlanta is in my top 10.
Yeah.
I just don't believe in their defense at all.
Sure.
The Raiders they were outscored. The Raiders don't have the quarterback issues that the Broncos do. And
Raiders have
if
potentially the best
the
quarterback
thing
in
about
the
the
league.
Broncos that made me drop them is they can't win a high scoring game. They'll
Yeah,
never be able
absolutely.
to. The Raiders can do that. The Raiders can also win a low scoring game. You saw that in Baltimore.
Mhm.
And 3 road
And
wins.
Tennessee.
And Tennessee, which I mean, not great teams, but 3 road wins.
Baltimore
that's
was
pretty
3-0
good.
coming into that game.
They
so.
were also, but the Baltimore is one of those weird teams where they easily could be 0-5 and they easily could be 5-0.
Kind of like San Diego right now.
Right, right. All right, go ahead, man.
My
So-
number 7 is the Falcons.
Okay.
They climbed up on this list. They
And
were
let me ask you a
This is
question.
below Denver.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason why is because
Because
like you
on the
said,
road,
they
it's
beat-
their
yeah.
defense.
and they beat
Uh,
them in Denver
In Denver.
last week.
Yeah, they climbed the list. They weren't on my top
And
10 last
It
week,
wasn't
2
like,
weeks ago.
but no, but it wasn't like they like barely squeaked out a win. They handled that game until
They
the
did. They
end.
had
Oh,
a great
yeah.
run. They had a great running attack. Trust me, I was a very upset home fan. But the Broncos haven't fallen too far for me. They've fallen definitely, but I'm excited for this week Thursday matchup to see what's going to happen. But the Falcons at 7, nonetheless.
Okay, for me, it's Green Bay at number 7. I think they just have a lot of talent. Having Aaron Rodgers helps a lot, as I've said multiple times. It was kind of a shaky win, made a few mistakes, but they got the job done. They're a good team, have great home field advantage, have a good coach. Packers at 7.
I have
That's
more,
fair.
but It is fair, I guess.
So-
let me ask you a question real quick. Who's better, the Raiders or the Packers?
That's hard, simply because I'm so used to us being bad that it's hard to,
And that's the issue.
elevate your team.
The issue
But-
is you have these preconceived thoughts that, oh, the Packers play great
No,
at Lambeau
not
Field.
even that.
Aaron Rodgers is perfect. He doesn't do anything wrong. Boo, boo, boo. It's conditioned
I don't
in your
think
mind
that's true.
because
I
you're
don't
a
think that's
loser
true.
Raider
We'll-
fan.
all right, all
That's
right.
what happens.
We'll go
Number
through our
6,
power
number
rankings,
6.
and you'll see why that's not the
Number
case.
6, I have the Packers.
Okay?
That's way too high, but okay.
That's your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they potentially,
Potential. Boo.
potential.
It's the same argument I made with Nathaniel. You're conditioned in your mind that Aaron Rodgers is
You just
perfect.
really-
He's won 1 Super Bowl. I mean, which is
I-
awesome. Which
I
I
like Aaron
can't say
Rodgers.
there's anything wrong against it, but he's been
I think-
underwhelming this year.
I will agree with you that he has been underwhelming. He does not look like.
Is Eddie Lacy out for a long period of time?
Eddie Lacy is eating China food right now.
Is he even out?
I don't know.
I don't
no,
think
he
he's
got.
hurt.
I think he got injured in that last game.
Oh, it was just an ankle thing.
The Gouda
I know
Buddha.
what you're talking
Was
about.
he? I don't know. I'm not sure if he's longer term
It
than
didn't-
1 or 2 weeks, but
The quote says Eddie
Eddie
Lacy ankle injury should be all right. So that's kind of vague.
all right. Anyway, number 6. What's your number 6?
Number 6 for me is Denver,
Denver.
losing at home as we've covered to Atlanta. Their offense looks atrocious.
Atrocious.
Like absolutely awful. Their defense didn't even look that spectacular compared to someone like the Vikings or the Seahawks.
To me, it looked like they got hammered by the big play. And
Yeah,
and
no,
that's-
absolutely. And
you
even,
gotta lock
but
down.
that too.
We
Also,
got hammered by the run.
Atlanta
It
was
wasn't-
running the
Julio
ball
Jones did
all
absolutely
over.
nothing. The run. It was the run attack.
You got to scheme that
Devontae
up.
Freeman.
However, they
had a
did
game.
only give up 23. Denver's got to win.
Sure.
You should
Yeah.
win a game if you.
You
Yeah,
should at
I
least
feel
be in
like
a game.
I feel like with Simeon though, they can score 26 to 30 points.
That's that sounds so funny. With our 7th round pick from last year, if we had him, we'd be
We
great.
beat
Hey
Tom
man,
Brady. It's
I
Tom
was
Brady.
crying his name on
Listen,
Sunday.
I have a feeling,
I
this,
was.
and I know we've been kind of Bronco heavy, and I've been having my opinions, but I don't think it would have mattered Simeon or
Atlanta handled them. They weren't moving the ball. They were like
They got out.
play calling was
got out.
horrible.
Yep.
Exactly.
Absolutely. All right.
6, Peter.
6 to me, the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow.
Okay,
I have him a little higher.
listen, they're what are they?
You had them higher than 6, and you had
I have
Seahawks
them at 5.
like.
They're 4-1.
Okay.
They win. They have the best rushing offense in football. They've
I
had the
agree.
highest rusher in football. I saw a stat
They
that Zeke
block
Elliott.
so well.
Zeke Elliott has more rushing yards
Than
than
23 teams.
Yeah, 23 teams.
Not the Raiders.
Not the Raiders, but the Vikings, the Broncos were 2 of those teams. Until they run into a defense that will stop the run, which I thought Cincinnati would be able
How
to
do you
do.
just not sell out for
I-
that?
I don't
Especially with
understand.
Des
And
being
they-
there.
They block
Des-
extremely well.
No,
They
I
do.
know,
They're-
but
they
it
run up-
doesn't
You put 8 in the
matter how
box
many.
like how you used to play the Vikings
Yeah.
a couple years ago, where you put
I
8 in the
don't-
box and you're like,
yeah.
come at us,
Yeah.
Zeke.
Make Dak beat you,
Yeah.
and they have an
In
answer.
erasing last week's game for the Broncos, I thought the Broncos might be a defense that could do that. But we proved the same thing with an okay blocking scheme when nobody could stop the run. So, who knows?
So 6.
Number 6 for me is the Packers. Didn't I do that already?
Did you? Okay, so then I guess we're to me at 5 then, right?
Yep.
Okay, so to me at 5, I have the Falcons for the reasons we talked about. Great offense. Move quickly past that one because we beat them up pretty good. Falcons at 5 for me. Big win on the road against the Super Bowl champs who haven't lost in a year or whatever.
My 5 is the Cowboys. My only question though for the Cowboys is, do you think that they're going to bring Tony Romo
Yes.
back in after all this?
I do.
Again, I think it'll depend. It's hard to remove someone doing so well. I mean, they're 4.
That's what I would hate that if I was a Dallas Cowboy fan, which I'm not.
The reason they're winning is not because of anything
I know.
Dak's doing. But can
But
you
I mean, how do
imagine?
you pull the kid
No,
after
what I'm
what
saying-
he's done?
Well, because he's a kid.
Sure.
But if you
But
can you
but
imagine
Romo hasn't
if
proved himself in the playoffs. Why can't if they get into the playoffs? Why can't
Dak's proved himself in the playoffs?
no, let him try? Let him try.
For
He's
me,
proved Tony Romo has proved that he can't prove
No,
himself
in
the
every
playoffs.
this Tony Romo argument is so stupid.
I'm
to
with
me.
you on that one.
Listen,
People hate on Romo
in
for
every
it.
maybe in one game his team was favored to win. In every other game they were not favored to win, and he's got because he messed up a snap being a holder.
And he wasn't
Everybody
even, like-
draws this
yeah.
this thing that says Tony Romo's not a big game guy. He
The
is.
Broncos were not favored in any of their playoff games last year to win.
That's not true.
I don't
Except
think that's
the-
true
no,
at all.
except the
You
first
guys were-
round.
You were playing
What?
at home.
We
That's not true at all.
We weren't favored
You guys are absolutely favored
Not
against
against-
Pittsburgh.
against Pittsburgh. We were not.
Yes, you were.
All right.
That was your
Google.
first. That was your first game, David.
That's
You had a bye, and that was your first game.
Antonio
you played
Brown
New England.
didn't play. You were absolutely favored. You
He didn't
might
play.
be-
Big
you
Ben
were
was on
favored.
one
I think
foot.
you were favored in the Patriot game too.
We're looking at it.
Regardless, while they're looking this
Yeah,
up, I'll move
go.
along. My number 5 is also Atlanta. I think it's been covered pretty well in depth. Explosive offense. I'd like some credit on the Tevin Coleman thing
I know you would. You text me. I was right about Tevin.
and the
Coleman.
Jordan Howard thing.
Why are you on Netflix?
It's my homepage. I over you guys. I'm gonna watch a movie.
Are we moving along? At
What
number
did
4?
you just do?
He did
Yeah.
5.
Yeah, we all did our 5s.
Yeah, number 4 for me is the Denver Broncos. I have them up at 4.
I'm surprised,
loss with-
surprised they're
with-
not at 1.
I know. I actually am too.
Hey, I'm not unrealistic. Completely. But the Broncos, without their starting quarterback, albeit it's Simeon, I know you don't like that, but without a starting quarterback who they practiced with the entire the entire OTAs and then going into the practices right after preseason, I think that makes a difference. So they're at number 4.
Number 4.
Yeah.
Terrible home loss. Okay.
I have Pittsburgh at number 4. I think their offense is just so incredibly explosive that even though they have some shortcomings, they can overcome that. Sammy Coates had a crazy game this week. I'm really upset you scooped him off the
Yes,
waiver
I
wire.
did.
'Cause
Didn't
I was,
start
I
him.
was just about to
didn't
do
start
it
him.
too.
Last night too.
I didn't
I was
start
looking
him.
for him.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had
I was looking for him the day,
Denver,
the day you
a
scooped him.
7-point home favorite this
That's what I
weekend,
mean.
going into Sportsbook monitored by Odd Charts.
This is against the
Steelers, yes.
Of course, Brown's out. They came
Yeah, I
up
guess
with-
that's true.
I mean,
Yeah.
they had a week to prepare. They're at
D'Angelo
home.
Williams was listed as day-to-day. It was
Le'Veon Bell wasn't
Le'Veon Bell was
playing.
gone. Yeah.
Big Ben could
absolutely.
barely move.
What about against the Patriots?
I'll look that up too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's keep
Anyway,
going.
move on.
All right.
I like this.
Pittsburgh at 4.
Pittsburgh. Hey, guess what? Pittsburgh at 4. Yeah.
All right.
The
What's your
same
three?
reason.
And Le'Veon Bell.
It's
was
the same.
awesome.
What's your
They're
three?
just they're
Did
that-
you do your 4?
I gave you my 4 first.
Oh, Denver.
Yeah,
my
Yes,
mistake.
Denver Broncos.
they just ran through Kansas City and that game against the Jets was close for a moment and then
And then it
Pittsburgh
just-
was like it
was weird.
It was so funny. I was watching locally, the Vikings game was on,
Mm-hmm.
and I was at the restaurant, and because after getting out of church, I saw it was 24-0, and then Charleston's like, "You want to go eat?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah, we'll go watch it there."
Mm-hmm.
And like the game was so bad, they're like, "Hey, let's watch the Steeler game." Like, like CBS changed in game
Ouch.
because the Vikings are so good.
Ouch.
I hate when they do that. CBS does really awful things. You know what else they do?
Tell them
On
they
Sunday,
feel.
they do do the game swap like mid-game, and they'll show another game, like highlights from another game. I don't like that. Like, well,
Most people.
what if you're recording that
It ha-
game?
yeah,
you
it's
know?
happened
you know,
to me,
well,
but
I get
then you don't
aggravated.
watch that
No,
game while you're
Listen,
yeah.
we're in a world where you're not allowed to do that anymore. You can't record a game and watch one at the same time. It's a good
No,
you
yeah.
can't
Like
do that.
I turn my phone whenever I'm behind on a game. I turn
Yeah.
my phone.
Or you
I
send
don't
me a
look at
text
anything.
message.
I'm like, no one tell me
No,
anything.
I'm behind. Don't say nothing.
I had number 3, Seattle Seahawks. I know it was a bye week, but I think that just makes them more deadly. I think it was actually a good early bye. Usually I don't like the early bye because I think
But
it's
they
more
needed it more than
beneficial. They
anyone.
needed it probably more than anyone. Seahawks at number 3.
I have the Patriots at number 3. Tommy Boy coming back.
Wow.
This is 2. Do you have Seattle at 2?
Yeah, I do.
Wow.
He looked really good.
They were playing Cleveland, but Completely concur.
They destroyed him. David, this is not on any records for picks, but David called me. He's like, "I think I'm taking Pittsburgh in the points." I'm like, "No, you shouldn't ever take Pittsburgh in the points." Because, I mean, not Pittsburgh, Cleveland in the points.
Yeah, yeah.
Over the Patriots. And
He
I was
never
like,
bet
Tom's
against the
coming back.
Yeah.
He's on fire. And
Oh, it makes me
being
so
shut out
happy.
the week before.
it makes me so happy.
Yeah. Anyway, Patriots at 3 for me.
Number 3 for me is the Steelers. I had them one higher than you guys.
Okay.
They looked pretty good this last matchup. So, yeah.
Peter, number 2.
Number 2, the Seattle Seahawks.
Mm.
This team is, well, it's my Super Bowl pick in the NFC, and I
Same.
hope they don't. To me, it seems like it's going to come down to a rematch of the Blair
The
Walsh,
Blair Walsh
game. And the Vikings need to keep winning because if that game's in Minnesota, it's not going to be 2 degrees. I don't want to play that game in Seattle.
Wait. You
It's
played the
indoors.
game in Minnesota.
Yeah,
I
but it
know.
was outdoors.
What I'm saying is, it's not gonna. It's
Oh,
not
my
gonna be 2.
mistake, sure.
We're in Minnesota. We're indoors. Blair Walsh
You guys were
still
in-
missing kicks,
Junk Stadium.
but
Freezing.
playing them in
Would you rather have Blair Walsh or Robert Aguayo right now?
Robert Aguirre, not even
Really?
close.
With his 4 missed field
Not
goals on the
even
year?
close. Blair
Is it
Walsh
just
has
because
missed,
of-
Blair
yeah.
Walsh missed 2 extra points and 3 field goals?
This year?
Yeah.
He's so bad.
Why don't they cut him and just
For
pick
who?
up somebody off the street?
They're gonna get some guy off the street from the Patriots, or Robbie Gould went and worked out for the
I'd
the
take him over
Cowboys.
Blair Walsh.
I would too, but he just needed.
All right. My number 2 is the Patriots.
Okay.
So I think that they, they could be the one, but I think we all know who it is because they're undefeated. So
I'm right there with
Yeah.
you. I think the Patriots have the potential to be the best team in the league. They are my Super Bowl winners. Before the season, they looked terrific. Tom looked awesome. They murdered Cleveland, and it makes me so happy. Suck on it, Roger Goodell. Number 1. I believe it's you, sir.
Vikings, it's got to be. They're undefeated. They have impressive wins. Congratulations, Peter.
Week
But
6. Don't say but. They're perfect.
My number 1, the Cleveland. No, it's the Vikings. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a clean sweep. The Vikings are so athletic on defense, so young too. Blue chip prospects everywhere. Vikings.
If you're going to have massive injuries to your starting lineup, make sure they're on offense.
You think?
Well, obviously it works. I mean, in
Yes.
Minnesota, just,
With that defense, I don't think it really
it's
matters.
awesome. And we got a bye week. All we're going to do is get healthy. We're going to keep rolling. You kind of look through their schedule. They have the Eagles. They should beat Carson Wentz, having 2 weeks to plan for him. They played the Bears, who are awful. The Lions, who are terrible. The game in Lambeau Field against the Packers, and I think there's one
It's a tough
more
game.
that
Division
that might-
games on the road are
But
tough.
that building is the loudest building in
Lambeau?
football. No, the Dome where the Bears
Oh.
play. It's the loudest building.
Really?
It's crazy.
Many people
Yeah.
have been on. So Vikings number 1, Power Rankings Week 6. Thanks for watching. See you guys later.